brought to you by Bethel School of Technology. Learn more at betheltech.net/Ken Coleman.
So my boss is a micromanager. During my last couple of performance reviews this year, she's told me that she believes I've capped out of what she can offer me and that she supports me if I need to leave or take a special assignment to help further my career. I recently, a few weeks ago, applied to a permanent position that won't start until October. I haven't had the interview yet. She somehow found out and has since reprimanded me and kind of put me in the doghouse for not telling her that I was applying. So I was surprised by that, given the conversation that we had during my subsequent reviews. She's in those meetings. She's accused me of lying by omission, that she can't trust me anymore, and that I've gone behind her back, and that she that it leaves a sour taste for my departure. Even when I explained to her my position, she accuses me of knowing exactly what I was doing, and that she told me, even though that she's told me before, that she supports me in my career development. So my questions are, one, what is the protocol for notifying your boss that you are applying for a job? And in my case, should I have told my boss that I was applying?
Well, let me answer the first question. There's no official protocol in the professional heavens or the archives of professional, behavior. If you're applying for something externally, I've advised people, and I'm never going to change this advice. If you're applying for something externally, I wouldn't tell your boss. It's stupid. That's just dumb. You don't know if you're going to get it. You're not cheating on them. This isn't a professional affair. You have the right to go work where you want to work. So if you go apply for a job somewhere else, you don't tell your boss until it's time to resign.
Right.
All right.
Right.
That's straightforward. Now, applying for an internal job is different.
Okay.
And first of all, quick context of my comments. She's unhealthy.
Right.
Okay. So having a healthy conversation with a person who's unhealthy, it's the right thing to attempt, but it's also the equivalent of banging your head against the wall and going, I hope this doesn't hurt.
Right.
In this situation, what I would have done is in the initial conversation where she says to you, I can't offer you any more promotions. I'm inferring that's what you meant when she says she doesn't have anything else for you. Okay. So in that initial meeting, I would have said, okay, thank you for your honesty. I appreciate that. I would like to move up in my career, and I want to keep growing. And so can I, obviously, I'm assuming I have your blessing to look for some things internally. How would you, how can I best go about communicating what I'm looking for? I would have done it in the moment. So I do think I think she's over dramatic. I think she's been overly dramatic in the way she's responded to this. But because she's not using her own common sense. And by the way, micromanagers don't use common sense. They use emotion.
Right.
And so she ought to have enough sense, and she does, if she can turn her emotions off for a half second. She ought to have enough sense to go, I just told Dan that there's no more steps on the ladder under me. And and I told him, and she did. I thought you told me she did say, you should start looking for something else, right?
She did, right, in both meetings, back in January and back in March.
Did you document that?
It is documented in my reviews, yes, in my notes that was said.
Okay, great. So I would show that to her, or anybody in the process. Go, this is strange. She basically pushed me out, gave me a nudge, and then when I followed the inertia of the nudge, she's gotten offended. So I would have that documented, and I'd have that conversation, because you don't know what she's going to say or do behind your back within the building.
Right.
But I would attempt to go back to her. I mean, when was this last conversation when she dropped all this drama on you about I can't trust you?
It was last week and then the week before that. So it's been a couple of weeks. And then
did you bring up this stuff? Like, hey, the stuff you and I are talking about?
I did. I mentioned it. And
what was her response?
It was the lying by omission. It was all of that I should have said that I was applying, and
I don't disagree.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's lying by omission. I think you're like, look, she told me to move on, so I'm looking.
Right.
But in her case, a micromanager, this is the whole thing right here. I'm gonna go back to my opening. I don't know if you heard my opening segment.
Mm-hmm.
Communicate.
Right.
They are unhealthy. A micromanager is unhealthy, thus they are unreasonable.
Right. I would put this on a paranoid. I have other examples, but it's basically paranoia type personality tendencies.
Totally agree with you. So, first of all, you and I are in. I appreciate the call, but you and we're borderline crying over spilt milk at this point. There's nothing you can do to fix it other than to go back to her and maybe say, you know what? Here's what I did. We've already discussed it. I know you call it lying by omission. I want to be mature and go, I understand that you still, even though you told me to kind of look, I still should have communicated better.
Right.
That to me is trying to finish well with her and to try to restore something. It might, because you're looking for something in the building. Mm-hmm. And let me just tell you something. What I'm about to tell you would not be easy for me to do.
Yeah.
But I will tell you that I would do it. And I think people who know me well would go, Ken would absolutely do this. So here's what I would do. I'd go in and I'd totally eat crow, the old phrase. I would just go, hey, I've had some time to think about this, and I've tried to put myself in your shoes. I was a little confused, and I've explained all this already. I'm not here to make excuses. I should have said, I'm officially looking at this over here, and I'll keep you posted on what's going on. I should have made you aware of it. You're absolutely right. I could have handled it better.
Right.
But I want to do well. I want to finish well with you. Just fall on the sword.
Right.
There's absolutely nothing to lose because it's going to go one of two very clear ways, in my opinion.
Yeah.
She's going to be either indignant about it and still have her fanning the air and act all bothered by it and, whatever. Or she's going to go, all right. Finally, someone acknowledges that I'm right and I was mistreated and thank you very much. And she actually takes your apology.
Right.
Neither one of her responses are healthy, but the second one is the best you can hope for.
Yeah, it's the above reproach type of.
Yeah, why not? You've got nothing to lose. You only have something to gain.
Right. Yeah, and I've done that partially. I think the big piece, like you had said, I think circling back with her again and really saying like this was what I really understood because she was heated when I had brought it up, and so I do need to circle that back and just it's been a little bit of time and just clarify and say, hey, this is what
just say, hey, I did not. That's right. I didn't intend it. I did not intend to disrespect you or catch you off guard.
Right.
I was forward thinking. I assumed some things that I should not have assumed. Right.
Exactly.
And just own it.
Yeah. Right. I know, and that's the difficult part. I mean, this is, and where I work in the C-suite. So these are all executives that I work with, and so it's. It's
take the high road.
High tense. Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Take the high road. Fall on the sword. Be super humble. Don't even make anything. Just go. You know what? I've been chewing on this. That is not what I intended to do.
Right.
But I understand how you see it that way, and that perception is reality, and I am responsible for that. So I apologize, and I'm going to over communicate. You were 100% right. I should have handled it better.
Right.
My intent was not wrong. But the way I went about it was.
Right.
Just own it. That's all you can do.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. No,
all right.
That's good.
Yeah, appreciate the call. Yeah, absolutely. Good stuff there. Good stuff. Folks, when you're dealing with somebody who's unhealthy, you got to take the high road and be okay with how you handled it. Launch your tech career today at betheltech.net/Ken Coleman.